Hi everyone, in today's video I'm excited to show you how we took a e-commerce sports brand from generating close to nothing on Google Ads all the way up to $2.8 million in revenue, producing a whopping return on ad spend of 6x. This will be relevant to anyone who's looking to grow revenue and profit for their e-commerce store. If you are already doing Google Ads, I promise you that there will be plenty of tips and tricks in this video that will help you do it even better. And if you aren't already doing Google Ads, well then make sure you have a pen and notepad handy because you'll be in for a wild ride today. Before I dive in, if you need help creating similar results in Google Ads for your e-commerce store, then head over to bigflare.com and hit the button in the top right to get a free PPC action plan from yours truly. It's a totally no obligation and free customized plan done by myself, and whether or not we work together afterwards, there will be a ton of value in it for you. The brand we worked with specialized in making really high quality paddle boards, and they sold them directly to consumers from their website. When they reached out to me, they were basically at ground zero with Google Ads. They'd set up a few low spend shopping campaigns and had a few conversions, but the opportunity was ripe for the taking. After looking at their ad account, I knew we had to get in there and set everything up from the ground up. So part of this challenge was starting from scratch with Google Ads. That's always the most challenging time for any account, whether that's e-commerce or any other type of Google Ads advertiser. To make it even more daunting, we were advertising an outdoor sports product right when there was a global pandemic on. Ouch! Would people even be searching for paddleboards during this time? That was a huge question looming in all our minds. Another challenge is that we were working with a seasonal business, with a high season around the summer months when we were expecting demand to surge. However, in the low season, we knew that one of the trials we might face would be to get enough sales due to that lower search volume. Worse still, we had to consider the challenge of supply chain management. Exacerbated by the market conditions at the time, getting new stock in quickly enough to keep up with the demand we could generate might be tricky. And so our Google Ads campaign would have to be carefully paced to make sure that we didn't sell too much and end up with unhappy customers having to wait a long time for stock to come in. When starting from scratch on Google Ads, you need to identify first the highest leverage 80-20 areas of the account. This means finding the 20% of things that are going to generate 80% of the results and aggressively doing those things first before anything else. For a fresh e-commerce Google Ads account, the 80-20 is usually shopping ads and then search ads. Of course, there are other fun campaign types in Google Ads, such as display network or YouTube ads. However, if you want to start with the campaigns with the highest chance of quickly generating profit, then you normally should start with these two, shopping and search, and probably in that order as well. When getting into shopping ads for e-commerce, the first thing you need to decide is whether to use the more automated campaign type of Performance Max or whether you want to go the more manual route of standard shopping. In most cases these days, we see Performance Max getting overall more revenue than standard shopping, and in the case of this client, we did a split test and verified that the more automated campaign route was indeed more profitable overall. So we went with that. To get the new shopping campaigns really pumped up, we created a brand new product feed. Then we completely rewrote the product titles. Product titles are the most important item in your feed. They determine which keywords Google decides to show your shopping ads for. So we knew that the 80-20 of the shopping feed was right there, the product titles themselves. Since launching the new and improved shopping feed and campaigns, here's a look at what happens to weekly revenue from shopping ads. As you can see, it's been a wild ride with performance coming up to around 70k USD revenue per week. Over on the search side of things, we researched keywords, wrote awesome ad copy, and created a bunch of new campaign types, including product keyword campaigns, generic keyword campaigns, a dynamic search ad campaign, an RLSA head term campaign, and a competitors campaign. The product keywords campaign was targeted at anyone searching for non-brand keywords that had shown the highest level of intent and relevance. In the case of this client, we realized that this was for longer tail keywords, anyone searching for paddleboard or SUP in combination with other words that showed they were really specific. For example, inflatable stand-up paddleboard, or multi-person SUP, or dog stand-up paddleboard are some of the examples. As a side note, yes, doing stand-up paddleboarding with your dog is an actual thing, and it looks frickin' awesome. The generic keywords campaign is used for shorter-tailed keywords. The people we target here are still definitely looking for a paddleboard, but they are using shorter tail keywords that indicate a lower relevance and intent level. Keyword examples here are simply paddleboard or SUP, which stands for stand-up paddleboard in case you are wondering. When you want to run high-performing search campaigns, it's super important to segment your campaigns according to intent level, exactly like this. How you segment is really up to you, just make sure you choose a system that works and is easy for you to understand. To quickly cover the other campaign types, DSA or dynamic search ads is an auto-generated campaign we use on a low budget in order to discover new keyword ideas for us. In our RLSA head terms campaign, we are essentially retargeting people. In this campaign, what we're doing is we are targeting people who are searching for our keywords and who we know have been to the site before. This type of campaign is useful for targeting really broad keywords that we wouldn't get away with targeting normally. In this case, a broad keyword such as water sports or board is something we could target in this campaign. Now, it's so broad that we wouldn't target a keyword like that normally, but in this campaign, we know that they're searching that keyword and that they've been to our site very recently, which makes it viable to target those broader keywords and get more traffic to our client's site. If you're wondering what kind of performance we got after all this work, check this out. Much like with our shopping campaigns, we're currently sitting at around 70k in revenue per week. And this brings me to an important point. Oftentimes in e-commerce, the revenue split between search and shopping is around about the 50-50 mark. I often see e-commerce people who are only doing shopping thinking that this is all they need to do. But you can potentially be making double the revenue out of Google Ads if you go ahead and set up search as well. When you advertise on search, as well as shopping, you get more total sales. Sales that you don't get access to when you only do shopping. One last thing we did was to experiment with ROAS targets in the account. As I mentioned earlier, we knew that due to the length of time it takes for the client to replenish stock, there would be times when we needed to throttle the campaign to account for lower stock levels. The way we did this was to increase the ROAS targets in our target ROAS bid strategies whenever the client would let us know that there was the possibility of upcoming stock shortages. When we increase ROAS targets, what happens is the machine will respond by decreasing the cost per click bids. When you decrease the CPCs, you get a lower impression share, which reduces your overall sales volume. What happens is that because your costs are lower, you get a much better margin on each sale. So your profitability per sale goes way up. Just like this, we were able to influence the sales volume of the campaign based on what we knew about the client's business. During low season, for example, we decreased ROAS targets to help us pump up the sales volume. And in high season, when search volume was high and it was time to make hay while the proverbial sun was shining, we'd increase ROAS targets to make better margins and control the level at which we were selling stock. Another important aspect of ROAS targets is to find the ROAS sweet spot. What I've just described is the relationship between the ROAS target, the profit per sale, and the total sales volume. When you increase ROAS, profit per sale goes up, but total sales volume goes down. And when you decrease ROAS, profit per sale goes down and sales volume goes up. The ROAS sweet spot is basically the ideal ROAS that balances those two things and achieves the greatest overall total gross profit. A big part of what we did for this client was to do month-over-month testing to figure out where that sweet spot lies for their business. Before you can create any success with Google Ads, you first need to have an awesome business with a solid product that people actually want. You can't strap a pair of wings to a brick and expect it to fly. And you can't do Google Ads for a subpar product and expect it to succeed. When this brand came to us, I knew they already had something that was primed to succeed on Google Ads. And then we came in and focused on what we do best, building high-performing Google Ad campaigns and maximizing the revenue potential of search and shopping ads. I hope this video provided something useful for you that you can replicate in your business. And if you'd like to find out more about my agency Big Flare and to have a chat with me about potentially working together, head over to bigflare.com and hit the button in the top right to get a free PPC action plan by me.